Guys, in the last video, we got Recto 1 running and driving after a massive fire, and then we disassembled it and started the metal work. We got the right side pretty much done, but there's still a lot of work left to do, so let's jump into that. Here's where we left off. Quarter panel is tacked up in place, ready to go. Just got a little bit of stuff to fix up there and a little bit of welding. Got these two patches on off camera, but I still need to weld them up. Got to do a lot of welding on the inside and try to pretty that up, because that's still left over from last time I tried to do this. Got to clean these up a little bit, add a weld on that a little bit, take this back off, put it back on, grind those shut. I don't think we got to do anything else on this door, but on this door we have to do everything we did on the last one. Clean it up, rust reform it, do the sidewall, and then we're also going to be doing the rocker jamb. But before we even do that, I've got a little bit of surprise metal work that I left for myself and just totally forgot about. I didn't know that I left it like this. And also, that is not structurally sound. So we're going to have to do a little patchwork on that. Thankfully, I left myself a lot of 1/4 inch thick metal. So should be safe, should be good to go. But go ahead and get this cut out, get a little bit cut out in there. I've already marked how much of this gets cut off, and so I'll cut that up and mock fit it up in here, and then we can begin cutting the rocker panel out. But I'll probably support it with a floor jack or something just in case. Guys, take a look at this. That is no good. Now, I have seen it worse, but not much worse. So the outside, it's more understandable why this got rotted. This is real thin gauge stuff, I believe from Cadillac. It's 50-50 on if Cadillac put this on or not. I don't recall. This is gonna scare me a little bit because apparently this is lead. Like I thought just that was lead. No, it's like down here is lead. So great, I might need to replicate this too, so that's fun. This structure is really good. There's a little bit of rot right there. I'll do something with, or maybe I won't, whatever. This is the only thing structurally on the car that's worrying. That's why I have this jack here. So there's nothing connecting up here except for the seam and the inside. So this long piece, I'm glad it's all in good shape, but I need to figure out something right here. So I'll probably cut there, and then I'll put something in there. I might butcher some of my 1 inch square or 1 1/4 inch square. Probably do some of that right there. I knew I shouldn't do the rocker, as I found stuff that I should probably fix first. Like this, and this. And obviously that, and that. And this. And all of this. Who could forget all of this? As in all of this. So it's kind of rough. I think I might just do a plate on the outside. I don't know how I'll do it, but I'll figure something out. So off camera, I went and got these bent into shape. I got a little bit more work to do on this bad boy, and I'm gonna have to weld these little pie cuts. But man, that's gonna be a lot of work. I opened Pandora's rocker panel right now. This one, I cut out enough just so I could access here, but there's a lot of rust in there that I don't know if OSFO is gonna deal with. I'll let some OSFO sit. Just not too hopeful about that. But this section cleaned up really nice. Like this surface, super good. Really happy about that, almost all the way down. Right up here, I think I'm gonna need to take this fender off, which I'm not too excited about, but it's not that much work. It's just gonna be a little disheartening, you know? But I'll get that off and do this the right way. Blah, blah, blah. I hate doing this shit the right way. It's getting annoying. But the rocker is gonna be very nice. I know, I just have to keep telling myself. You think it's gonna look good? You don't care at all. Yeah, rocker's gonna be nice. Got this surface cleaned up right there, the mounting surface for this. So I don't know if I've explained this. All this metal came from Daniel Lauzon, a really talented metal fabricator in Canada, who supplied me with everything that you see for the Ecto 1, like all the metal that's not from a junk car. So basically this I took off of a different car, but here, this rocker, the other rocker, even the inner quarter panels right there, all of these came from one guy. Very, very glad to have that connection. I mean, that shit looks mint. It's great. He does a really good job. It didn't take that much work to get that in place. Thankfully, we still have people that can make these things, but it's a dying breed. In 10 years, you guys building Ecto 1s, I don't know. You're gonna have to do a lot of this stuff yourself. But for now, I can purchase this stuff, so I didn't need to make that. Anyways, I'm rambling. He makes the rocker in a two-piece kind of kit, where this surface will mount right there, and it will connect. It'll kind of like ride up on that lip, and I don't know how I'm gonna do it yet. I'm probably going to let one rest on the other, and just due to the fact that I want water going down, I'm probably going to want this, or I want this one to rest on top of the other. Well, man, I don't know. Whenever I say this stuff, it makes me realize that I don't probably want to do it that way. So I don't know how I'm going to do it yet. All I know is I'm going to have to box this in. I need to OSFO, I need to prime, I need to get everything cleaned up all inside these. And I'm going to cut this into two pieces. One's going to go to this surface, one to this one. I say that because there's about a 3/4 or an inch gap between them, and that is not right. So I'll cut this down to size and I'll put it here, I'll put it there, and then that will be what connects to this. And then I think I'm just gonna figure it out on the fly, honestly, guys. I don't know exactly how I'm gonna do it yet, but we'll figure it out. I'll start with some OSFO and then we'll get onto this in the morning. Okay guys, it's the next day. I just threw the quarter off on the side, or fender, sorry. I left it pretty easy to take off because I kind of figured something like this would happen again. So didn't have all the hardware in. Some might say that's a little bit stupid, but yeah. So now we can make a little patch for this surface right here. We can make a patch for this surface. We have to cut all this out anyways. And we can put another section right in there. It's the work that needs to be done, I guess. I might rip all this off and use some automotive seam sealant right here, just because that is not doing anything except for trapping moisture underneath it. I don't even know what material that was before, but right now it's just cracky potato chip. Guys, I took some time and cleaned some stuff out. Apparently, this might be just a design flaw, plain and simple, on every Cadillac of this era. So right up here, there's a little spot that's open that was never filled with anything, right behind the welds. So the welds are all over here, and then back in there, behind the bend, there's a little crevice. This area was chock full of rust, dirt, everything. All up in here, all the way up in here. So this whole section is probably going to be bad on any Cadillac of this era. So if you are building one of these, if you have one and you don't want to do the rockers, just be warned. I mean, I guess you can take the fender off and check how this area looks, and you can kind of get an eye for this area if this is blown out. But you probably have some structural fatigue in here and some open ventilated airflow in your frame that you probably don't want in there. So this is probably a problem on a lot of these. I think I got away lucky. I've seen people with a lot worse frame damage than this, or structure damage than this. It's just annoying that I need to do it because it's just that many more days up on the trailer and not on the road. So. So here's what we're working with. We've got 3 major pieces and then a couple other major pieces. I've lost track of how many little pieces I've made, but I'm gonna start combining them and making big pieces. So these 2 are gonna go like this. You see how it used to go all the way out there? I don't like that. It traps water. I need to make a patch for this, and there's no reason strength-wise that it would need to all the way tie into that I can think of. If car splits in half in a year, sure, I'll blame myself and I'll do it a different way. But I'm gonna do it like this, and it should be strong enough. I'm gonna tack these together like that, and then take them both off and weld all the way down there, clean them up, and prime the inside so everything's gonna be ready. This little piece started to come out after I cut this out, so I'm gonna have a little fun filling this hole. That's gonna be fun. And also same with this thing right here, that also came out after I made the patch. Man, this metal down here is the worst that's left on the car probably. I don't think there's anything left that's this bad anymore, because everything's been kind of gone through that I've touched. This is kind of the last thing that's just like a leftover from just sitting for 60 years not getting maintained. So we'll get that tacked together, and then the other piece right here, it's gonna go like that. This little pie cut, I had made this one a little too shallow, that's why I made this piece right here. So that's gonna weld straight there, then this is gonna weld to it. I'm gonna fill this pie cut in, that'll go right there, and then this is gonna go on top of all of it right there. I mean, this sucks, guys, I'll be real. This is a lot of work, but it needs to happen. I'm gonna just do this side, make it nice, but I really am not going to do the other side. I'll do that later, like down the road. I just don't have the time to do this on two sides. So we'll make one side nice, and the gunner seat side is gonna look good. The other side, just if you see it in person, don't look at it. Okay, glad that's over. Got all this fully welded. Don't look at the bottom ones, just look at the side ones. Don't look there, just look up here. It's gonna be nice up there. I'm looking now, I got 2 holes I need to fill, so I'll fill those real quick. Probably got a few up there, and I need to grind a little bit of that surface, but I'm not gonna try to spend a lot of time down there. No one's ever gonna see that unless they're looking for it. Now that's mostly done. So make a little patch over there tomorrow, and then I got to make a patch right there, a little rectangular support. Oh my gosh! And then I got to make the one. I already made this one, but I got to put this one in right here. Gosh, this stuff never ends. So maybe tomorrow, if I'm really lucky, I can get the rocker panel on. Dude, what a wasted like 2 days. Wasted on this. About to finish up this wonderful side project I made for myself, but I wanted to actually take a second because in between working on this, I uploaded the video, like the last video in the series, and oh my gosh, you guys love it. Thank you guys for watching. Some of you guys might be new, a couple weeks old subscribers. Thank you guys for joining. For some of the people that have been watching for years, thank you guys for supporting that last video. I can't believe how big that video got. It's amazing. It's already at like I don't remember, what was it, like 50,000, 40,000, almost 41,000. I where are you guys coming from? That's awesome. So yeah, sorry this one isn't gonna be as fun. Oh my gosh. Stupid rocker panel side quest, but we'll try to get this done quick and then get back onto some of the other cool stuff. I've already got this panel made, cleaned up in there. Just gotta hose it out again and a little bit more phospho and then primer. Oh, back here everything's good up into right there. Go ahead and make this structure right there, and then go back here. I'll make this little rectangle, and then hopefully at that point we're ready for the outer rocker. At that point I will need to restore this. Go ahead and wire brush it down, OSFO it, prime it, lay it on there. I need to cut it in 2 different places because I'm probably gonna cut this back to there, or maybe I'll keep that. Yeah, I'm gonna cut it right there. I'm gonna cut that right there, and then I'm gonna run it all that section, and then I'm going to cut that at this point so it can go a little bit further back, and then it'll be right there. Capiche? Here's my concern with these rockers. So they're segmented because this is a coach-built, hand-built car. And this section, this box is to itself, that box is to itself. And other than me cutting a little access panel out in the middle of each one, I'm not sure how I'm supposed to get them clean because there's like rust inside. It doesn't just hose out, it's heavy metal. So I don't know if really what I should do is take a step back and cut a panel out, or if I'm just really opening Pandora's box more and more and more, and if maybe I should cut my losses at some point. I don't know. Either way, I've got this piece ready to go for this, but I want to do this right. As much as I hate to say it, it's just that, man, it's taking a lot of time away from getting this car back on the street, and I feel a lot of external forces trying to get this done quick, and the car doesn't want this to happen quick. The car wants me to spend 10 years meticulously replacing every single little bit of rust on it. I don't want that, and the universe around me doesn't want that. Man, what a pain in the butt. Okay, Recto, you win. There's your little panel. Well, now I can't get it out. Man, look at all this crap. Okay, Recto wins again. I have cut another patch panel, and it's just as bad down here. So all the work that I do here, it doesn't travel down there, just like I was worried about. So hopefully this area in between will be pretty clean. I'm done with cutting panels out of this damn car. It needs to stay together. No more separating parts of the car. It's driving me insane. Okay, so I'm going through multiple stages of soap it down, wait for a little bit, and then spray this one, spray this one, spray that one, try to get everything out from front to back. The more I think of it, I think I'll seal this one back up, obviously, but I think the maintenance for these rockers is going to involve some sort of panels up on this top surface right here in the door jamb, so you can unscrew it, open this up, see what's in there, hose it out. Maybe I'll have some holes on the bottom, or maybe the front and the back. I'm not sure yet what the hole situation will be, but at least having some sort of access on the top, because these are structural. You kind of need to have them just because they decide where the door jamb, where this piece is, and add structure to that. So can't really get rid of it altogether as much as I'd like to, but I'll at least maybe try to have some little panel in there later. Not right now though, not right now. This project's gone on long enough. That's not happening right now, it's happening later. Alright, so here's what we're looking at now. Got 3 pieces. These 3 pieces need to come together, and to be honest with you, I don't know how I'm going to do it. So I got them lined up using self-tappers and going through this surface into the bottom of the other one. Question is, am I going to leave it like that and seam seal and be done with it? Or am I going to cut? I really don't know. I guess you'll find out in a second, but I don't know what I'm going to do. Okay, I think I'm going to do the thing that might take a lot longer and might look worse, but it'll be better, I guess, just to cut here a little bit on the inside of this section and then weld it all the way down. I mean, I might change my mind in 5 minutes, because are we seeing how much weld that is and how straight it already looks? I'm really close to just seam sealing all the way up here. Okay, here's the final location of the rocker. It's not coming off again unless I don't know, really want to see the inside of the rocker again. Hint, I don't. I'm sick of doing this part, but I'll show you what it's gonna look like. I was adjusting, so it seems like the old rocker stuck out more, and I just don't have the adjustment to make it do that. I've got it pretty good on this side. It was already out on that side because the door is slightly out of whack, so I'm not adjusting it according to that door. I've been adjusting according to this door. I've got it pretty good at the front, like that's pretty nice. And it's a little bit out in the back, but I've been adjusting the actual bottom of the door to account for that. So I've got it in pretty good. And I'll just tap this. You see all this paint coming off? Yeah, it's because I've been sledgehammering the bottom of this to get that curve down. And I think it's gonna look fine. Everything's gonna even out with Bondo. Everything's gonna look real nice. Just need some Bondo. I'm not using lead. So the original, like I've said a lot of times, this original like section, all of this is lead. So like you see this here, this little section right in here that needs to be remade, everything down there. So much of this car is made of lead, it's insane. Like all the door jambs, I'm not going back in with lead because I don't want to work with lead. I'm doing Bondo and just getting the metal more accurate than it was the first time. Taking that little bit of time, getting stuff pretty close so I don't need a ½ inch of lead, and to where I can use maybe up to a ¼ inch of Bondo. If it ends up getting real big, I'll probably go in later with fiberglass reinforced filler, but I don't have that. I don't want to start working with that just yet. I don't want to work with chop strand. I want to work with what I've got. I've got Bondo, so I'm going to see how far I can get with Bondo. If I need to redo this in 10 years, so be it. It's the Recto 1. I mean, this thing was on fire 8 months ago, and before that it was sitting in a barn with a rat nest in the floor. Realistically, anything is better than what it was, so we'll just keep going with the way it is. I'm gonna take a break, eat something, and then I'll get to welding. So here's where we're looking at the end of the day. Rocker panel's installed. I have a little bit more welding to do on it, but I like to hop around a little bit. I get really bored and I hate working on that rocker. So as punishment for it, I'm gonna move on. I had to cut this little relief out because it was starting to warp and flex right here where I cut the support out. I had to do that because it has this little triangle piece that apparently was all made of lead and rusted metal, so there wasn't a single bit of it that was usable. The other reason I couldn't use it was because it stopped because of the body line that I cut out of the doors. So with that being said, I couldn't really use any of it, so I made that little template. You saw me do that. It's 2 pieces, and I'm gonna have another piece over here, but there's more lead in here I need to get out, and I don't have a torch anymore. Lost it in the fire. I need to go get a new torch sometime soon, but I can get this done for now without it. I'll get that little piece made, make that little structure, make it clear both of these doors. And then as for this side, I think my next step is going to be the daunting quarter panel work. I'm gonna start, I really don't want to, but I know I need to. I need to finish this up. This was some welding that I just didn't finish before, and now it's all rusty. I know it's really fun. So I need to go ahead and deal with that. Make it look a little presentable, because right now it looks like total crap. Then I got these little squares I need to finish welding. I don't know if I'll do those on camera though, because sure, I like having an hour-long video, but I want it to be full of substance instead of just watching me do the same thing for 50 hours worth of work. And then this quarter, the actual skin needs to get welded, so I'll go ahead and tack that. Off camera, I don't think I ever showed you guys. I was having trouble getting this area to snug up. You can tell it's still not perfect, but man, I had the genius idea to use self-tappers and get that really tight in there, and oh my gosh, it is beautiful. So now I've got this very snug fitting piece all the way across. I'm not sure how I'm gonna weld along this area. I really don't want to weld on the inside. Like, even with the rocker, I welded along the outside just because I wasn't about to crawl into that little crevice and, you know, weld from the inside. I just didn't want to. So I'll clean those up and whatever, no one's gonna notice. And even if you do notice, no one's gonna care. I gotta weld all this up. It's tacked here, it's tacked along the top. I just gotta weld all the way across. And then I need to make a little patch in there. But I do like having the little access for now, so I'll leave it for just a little bit. And then, gosh, I just primed the door on the inside, so I'll probably do another coat on there and then work on getting that skin done. And this week should be the end of this side metal work. I really hope it's the end, because I really need to make some progress. I'll get this installed, and then there will be nothing outlying, like nothing huge that needs to get done, no giant tasks left on this side. Then we'll be good to end this video. Woo! guys, I just want to show you how much lead is in this car. Look, all of this surface is lead. I had to grind down I think every inch of this except for the very outside lip. Like everything here, everything down here, it's all just solid lead. Sucks, man. Makes my life so much harder. So I have to make another patch, go all the way over there, weld in, and just deal with all the lead. It's like I'm working on a cyst, or like a pimple, and it just keeps popping pus. I don't have my torch to burn this out, which I need to go get. I'll get it this weekend, but until then, I mean, you know what, maybe that's a good point. Maybe since I don't have that torch, I should work on this door, get this metal done, and then finish this up. Because once I have those done, I'll come back with the torch, melt that, make that. A couple hours on there, and then I'll do this kind of at the end. I'm gonna leave it open for now. I have some cavity wax coming in. I'm gonna spray all up and down here, and that's gonna clean all this up, cover it in a little coating that's kind of rust preventative, just to assume that water will get in there. That's not bad for now. Okay, I got everything fully welded, except down here when I was working on this dent that you can't really see, but I guess sometime in the last 60 years something drug across this side and dented, and I just kind of forgot about it. When I was hitting that, turned out there's some rust in this bottom pocket, so I'm gonna make a little patch right about there. Jeez, guys, it really doesn't end. This car does not want me to put the welder down. She's addicted. Got some like porous welds that I'm hoping I'll grind them down and I'll do another layer. Hope they're not too bad, but I can tell already. I mean, there's some classic YouTuber welds, so we'll get those taken care of. I just don't know at what stage. I'm either gonna do them like within this video or once the car's back in one piece and off the trailer. I'm really not sure yet, so don't wanna get your hopes up. I'll start on this though. Alright, so we know there's a couple little things over there that need to get addressed. I am tired of looking over there. Looking over here, change of scenery. So this is the section that I was mentioning. The leftover from the last job. Last guy that did this sucked. I actually bought the right tool for the job, and it just came in today, so I'm excited to use it. It's an 8-inch circumference wire brush bit for a drill. I don't know what to say, but it's just like a really big one that should be able to reach in here and clean this area up really nice. So I got to weld up there and around there on the top, and then these 2 patches, and then I can start on the whole quarter panel, and we shouldn't run into that many problems. It's just that it's a lot, guys, and it's a lot of toll on me, so I don't know how much I can do at a time. I have to take some breaks, but I don't know. I'm sure you guys, you know, welders that are watching this are probably like, oh, what a pansy. But yeah, man, I'm just a schlub trying to build my dream car. So I'm more of a nerd than a welder. I'm just doing it because I have to. So I'll get that set up, and I'm gonna see if I can actually use that big wire brush up there. Okay, wow, this thing is awesome. I hope it works. Woo! Woo! It's a handful. I guess my only thing I'm trying to figure out right now is if I should be doing this inside the car or outside the car where I'm at. I can do it in both, I think. I just don't know which is safer and smarter. So I'm gonna start with the easier one. Gosh. Maybe I saved it. Yeah, okay, well, we learned something pretty quick. This will burn up a little cutter. Angle grinder, man, I'm so tired I can't even think of words. But that was pretty stupid. Okay, so today we're gonna crawl up in here and finish this up from the right angle. Well, I know I'm invading their space. Getting sunburned, if you can't tell. I mean, it looks like I could like be a traffic guard, like go stop. So I gotta put some sleeves on or whatever. Anyways, I'm really impressed with this method of welding that I wanted to show you guys. I've been doing it a couple different ways across the car, just kind of learning as I go. And basically these two were a little piece of metal that I marked with Sharpie, took it back off, cut the little section out and then hung it with these little Harbor Freight welding clamps. This one was almost the same way, same process, except instead of welding clamps I just kind of tacked and then held it in place, and you know, wished myself good luck. Pretty good results with those, but they're pretty hard. This method was way different up here. If you see these self tappers, I think you saw me do it in the last video or in this one, I don't remember anymore. I actually cut down to about here, I think, on this fin, and overlapped with this piece, this quarter structure, and self-tapered it into place in order to get it really nice and tight. Then I marked with the Sharpie. You can kind of still see some Sharpie. Once I got it tacked up in here, I started by cutting a little bit off and then welding right here to keep this really smooth over in here. We're not going to talk about this area. This area is pretty bad. I'm going to need to make a little patch or something because it sucks. Ignore this. Not proud about that. I am proud about this. Once you start cutting this back, there's this little 1/2 inch or inch little piece that's kind of dangling down in there now, and you push this down. You use anything from hammer to actual bodywork hammer to just a screwdriver tip. Push whatever end is up down, and you end up getting this really nice tight weld that is very smooth. I'm gonna need to work this a little bit. It's gonna need some Bondo, and it's probably, no matter what, it's probably gonna be a 20-footer, like a lot of the Ecto ones that you've also probably never seen in person, so don't judge me. So look at how nice that is. That is going to be such a nice, tight, snug fit. There's not going to be any big, huge gaps I need to fill, except for right there. Again, we're not talking about that. We're talking about this. Strong recommend for you DIY guys to, if you're hanging a big quarter panel, hanging a big piece, like this too, what I should have done here. Oversize it, self-tap it into place. I know you're like, oh, I've got to fill those holes. Whatever, it's not that big of a deal, honestly. So fill those holes a little bit. Honestly, you probably could just weld, like cut the head off and then weld over those if you really wanted to. I know I'm sounding like Pole Barn Garage right now, but it's worth a shot, honestly. I think that might be a good fit, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna weld through these and just fill those. Just give that a shot. Do the lap method and you'll have a way better result than anything I've done before. So as for those holes up there, and then the couple along here that I've created with my debauchery, I think the best way to do it, just because there really isn't another place to access them in there, unless I was wanting to cut this out, and do I look like I want to do that? Instead of that, I think I'm just going to go back in the way they did it originally and just put whatever I can, just fill it in there. I don't know what those holes are, and I don't know why they're there either. They're not for drainage. It's not target practice unless the quarter panel was replaced before I got to it, which is highly unlikely, because the quarter panel didn't have any bullet hole damage. I have no idea what those holes are. They just filled them with some sort of adhesive, so that's what I'm going to do. Some sort of silicone. One of the sealants I have I'll use, and that'll take care of the weather on the inside of this. And then there was this, I was going to make a patch for it, but I'm not. It's small enough. I'm just going to make a piece of metal, self-tappers and sealant, like auto body sealant, is going to keep it shut, and it's going to be fine. As for all this, I'm going to keep welding off camera. I just don't want to make this 2 hours long. But realistically, we're at the finish line for this video. I think the only things I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make that patch. I'm gonna make this patch back here, probably tomorrow because it's hot and sunny right now. So weld that, and then I'll finish this area up. Guys, I think we're kind of done. Man, what a great feeling. I've got that one patch in the back and then this patch, and I'm gonna cut here, cut there, and then I'm just gonna lay a thin piece of sheet metal in there and then mark it with a Sharpie, cut the excess, weld, we'll be done over there. Nice. It's pretty easy. Okay guys, another beautiful day in paradise. Like I said, got most of this metal work done. I mean, that is looking pretty nice. I just got a couple little small spots to do. I think I'm gonna start with finishing up the entire quarter panel up there and across there. And once that's ready, I'll take a break, I'll move on to in here. I gotta do that and that little bottom area too. What's left back here? I gotta make that patch right there. Maybe I start with that. Yeah, that might be a little bit better. Maybe I just start here and just go forward. I'm just gonna go all the way down. I don't have that much to do on this door jamb, I don't think. Yeah, this door jamb is really good. I just got that corner. And then I'm gonna cut patches out. I'm gonna make a panel that goes there and a panel that goes there. And then I'm gonna cut within them and I'm gonna self-tapper those down. That is going to be an access panel that stays on both of these. But I have a lot less work to do there than I do here. This one, I need to make a top. It goes there, there. I might just make a whole new skin all the way across, and then I'll cut some pockets out. Oh, good to know about that. I would have cut a little too far in. I gotta remember not to cut too much in. Okay, a lot of work to do. Let's get going. Also, look at my little outfit I picked up. Got this on Amazon. I think it might save me from some burn marks. So what I'm doing is I'm going through and I'm finding the old drilled out holes from the old welds, and I'm matching them on the front so I have less rework to do. If I'm already gonna drill a hole, and I need to fill a hole with weld, I might as well fill it from the outside, you know. So use a self-tapper, mark it, weld it from the outside, save myself some work and some burns. That's all done. Sweet. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mark with a piece of painter's tape. I'm gonna get this perfectly level, because you see how that dips down right there? I think it looks ugly and it kind of waves, so I'm gonna fix that a little bit. Okay, so that's what the fender skirt's gonna look like installed. I had to modify the piece just a little bit, bend the flange up just because this shape's a little different. So you can still use this hardware from the old fender skirt. That's what I did. For you guys that are new, these are the old fender skirts, the 1962. And I'm saying stuff referencing year-old video that I'm sure a lot of you haven't seen. This is the old fender skirt. This is a 1962 car and I'm making it a 1959, so I had to use the hardware from this one. And you just need to change it a little bit. Now I need to make latches for these corners to hang on. This is tight, this is exactly where it's gonna go and it fits really nice, but I need to make hooks like this. So what they do is they have a hook that drops it in on that side and a little rectangle piece up in the car, and then on the other side it just has like a little piece that scoops in from the left. And I'm just gonna get kind of custom with it. They don't need to be perfect, but I am gonna jump back onto that. I'm doing this back and forth because this is the way you need to get stuff done if you're a one-man show. When stuff is drying or prepping, when a surface is getting prepared for something, you need to move over and do something else, just so you're always moving, always doing something. So now this OSFO is dried, the surface is etched. I'm going to clean it off a little bit and then primer it with weld through on the edges and then rust preventative black on the middle. I cut a lot of this out, so I got to pull a little bit of it out, but now I'm going to wire brush this as well. I'm going to get this cleaned up, and man, also this turned out really nice. I'm very pleased with this. Wow, it's even like it's snug up to the side, so it's like in the exact right place. Look at that. Damn, I'm good. Because of the size of the shop vacuum that I use, I don't think I can have one all the way up here. So I'm going to have to go back here where it's a little wider. I'm going to do one back here and one a little further up. So I'm thinking if I have that right there. So now I just need to make a template of that shape. Perfect. Sandpaper. Well, that'll make it easy. I can just make it the same shape as sandpaper. I like to try to just use whatever I can because we're doing custom stuff here. It doesn't need to be exact science. But that will mean I need to make the pieces, like the patches that go over this, I need to make those bigger than sandpaper, obviously. But knowing myself, I will forget that, and then I will make it too big, or I'll make them too small, and then I'll have to recut them. Is that exactly half? No kidding. Oh my gosh, I'm cracked. So now, I can get rid of that one. Forget about that one. And I can do the same one back here. So now this Ecto is going to be different than any of the others because it's actually going to have rocker panel maintenance panels. I don't know anyone else that has done this before. They kind of just seal it up and forget it. I want to be maintainable, so I want to be able to open these up, see down in here, shove a vacuum cleaner over in there, clean all this junk out, hose it down, spray some crazy stuff in there, spray cavity wax in there. I want to be able to do all of that with the rocker still structurally sound. So that is going to be really cool. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. See if they work though. Yeah, I can get up there, go back there, go up there, and I can just make it back there. And then with the nozzle, oh yeah, with the nozzle it's no problem. All the dirt and the mud and the mouse nests and everything that come up in here now, I've got it handled. Alright, I'll make the patch panel covers now out of something. Probably scrap. I'm going to use this scrap. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use those scrap pieces that I cut off. Should be the exact same. Yeah, those are pretty much the exact same. I like this one better. I'm going to use them. I'm just going to trace outside by this distance. About like that'll do. There you go. Hot damn. And I guess I'll do them back there as well. It only requires just making 4 of these identical. And one there, one there. Yeah, I guess I'll do that. I'll make 4. Well guys, that's going to be the end of part 2 of the fire restoration for the Recto 1. We made a lot of progress. Finished up this side, got about 98% done. So I got it turned around. It's been a couple days. I'll show you everything that we did. Everything from the back. We got this patch finished up, all the welding back here, everything welded and tight, all up around here. All this good metal, all firmly attached. The inside, can't see it super well, but everything has been rubber coated, and I hope the stuff holds up pretty well. I guess we'll find out. If it doesn't, power wash it off and do it again. Also filled up all those seams with seam sealer, plugged all the holes from the inside, so this should be relatively watertight now. Now you can see how the gunner door works fully, and I'll show you. It is close. I've got a little work yet to be done. Look at that. I mean, that right there, that is so narrow. If you painted the car, if I painted the car, it would not fit anymore. I knew it would scratch. So it needs to come out a little bit, needless to say. And I'm gonna fix that by probably doing 2 washers down here, 2 washers down here, and then 1 washer on these. So 1 washer, 2 washers. That's gonna, I need to bring the bottom out a little bit more, and I need to bring the top out just the teensiest bit more. And then in order, you see, I guess I'll show you from afar, it's kind of cocked up just a little bit, and so I'm gonna need to put washers on the top one to lower it a little bit. I think that's what it needs. I need to recall before I make any promises. Yeah, so it needs to come up a little bit, so actually there's gonna be washers on the bottom, just enough to get this flush, get that flush, and to get this to not contact that aluminum right there anymore. Just the littlest bit up. But that's looking really good. Works, all works perfectly. And the fact that I don't need to completely redo this or anything, that's enough of a win, because this being done on a trailer by a guy that has no idea what he's doing, I mean, that's pretty good. I'll show you from afar how we're looking. Nice. And then we also got all the rocker panels done. Got the panels made for here. All of this. All this is all nice and new and clean. Obviously we'll grind it and clean it up later, but all the cleaning up and grinding is going to happen later. Right now I don't want to get bogged down by that, so we're going to move on to the other side. As for the other side, we're going to be able to rush along and jump right into cutting this quarter panel off all the way across. We'll probably end up doing the rocker, but just not as in-depth as before. Probably keep this surface and just cut underneath it just to save some time. We don't need to modify this door structure. All we need to do is cut the skin right there and right there. And then, gosh, I hope I don't need to take this fender off, but knowing the rocker, I probably do. So we'll probably end up taking that rocker off. Woohoo! But that's going to be about it for this video. We'll see this coming up pretty soon. And then after that, ready to roll off and get into body work. So hope you guys are enjoying this series. Thank you guys so much for all the support on the last video, and thank you guys for sticking around for this video. Stay tuned for the next one coming out in a few weeks. Well guys,